the gets the point people for the project. 35 to 60 age range, income way over $100,000. That was her words, way over. Way over. We're probably talking 250 plus. Okay. Geographical area they want to target 20 miles. Occupation again, executives, pharmaceuticals, doctors, specialty doctors, not just family practice. Brain surgeons and pilots.
Studios.
Is that more based on profession, or are they looking at an income level?
They're looking at income level.
Okay.
I think they gave me those because that's some people that they've done work for in the past.
Right.
Like to say there's 3 doctors in a specialty practice, they've done work for all three of them, just because word spread throughout all 3. Lifestyle and interest that they want to target, she wasn't necessarily sure because she doesn't talk that much to the specific client. The one partner does, which I'm gonna meet with him again. Buying cycle of the product depends on the size of the job. Obviously, the smaller the job, the quicker it gets done. Kind of how the process works. Right now, most of the business they're getting is from referrals. They'll get a call saying, "I saw your sign on someone's house. What do I do?" Then they refer them to an architect. The architect does the sketch work, and then the process goes from there. They want to reach people in the active stage, where they've got. I think those, again, tell me your thoughts, but I think those people, doctors and executives, when they know they want to do something, they're going to do it because they have the funds. Mm-hmm. They want to target people in the evenings and the weekends. All that they have done is magazines, maybe every other month, every quarter.
You know which magazines?
Bucks County, Town and Country Living, and Local Living. Town and Country Living is quarterly. Local Living is every 2 months.
How are they looking to track their return on investment?
Calls.
Calls. That's it. Strictly calls. Yeah. So they're confident once they get the call, they're in the cycle that they're ready to do.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. They also did a recent direct mail to 400 of their existing clients.
Why did they do that?
They're a 37-year-old company, so that they're still stuck in the 90s or whatever. So that's why they want to do it. But comparative to the print stuff, they got more return from the direct mail. Although it was to existing clients, it was just a reminder to their existing clients, we're here, and then they might say, oh yeah, you know what, I need this done. What's worked best for them, it really is referrals and word of mouth.
How's their website?
Website's good.
Does it show $1 million worth of
work? Yeah.
Their whole thing really is pictures. They don't want to clutter anything with words. It's pictures.
That says it.
Like before and after, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. She doesn't think the magazines work well, but they're done because the boss wants them to be done.
Yeah.
What's their budget?
They do not have a yearly or an annual budget. They're like most businesses, if they see something that they like, they're going to do it. Now for the direct mail, they spend $1,100 for these magazine ads. They'll spend close to $2,000. They did do something with another company.
That's gonna look great on video.
Markery, M-A-R-K-E, or Marketee or something like that.
Okay.
Google, they were spending $2,800 a month with them.
How much?
And $2,800. But they wanted them to go nuts with LinkedIn and do blogs and all sorts of stuff, and they got nothing out of it.
Yeah, that's not gonna be successful.
Not blogging.
No.
All right.
Especially for that client.
Yeah.
They actually want to drive people to their website, but they need to update it more regularly. They don't have time, so that's something we can help them with. Build their brand awareness, generate sales leads, grow their market share.
Did you say to them, hey, you don't have a budget, I understand that, but what are you looking to spend roughly so you don't go in there with like a $7,000 proposal and they fall off their seat?
I would probably be safe with $1,500.
Because one job, they're going to make $20,000.
Yeah.
One of the right jobs, and we can get the right job.
That's the key. Yeah.
Okay.
Where are they on the internet? Did you Google them?
Yeah, they are, their page rank is a 2. In terms of builders, they come up, obviously if you type in their name, they come up. Again, I don't know if the people they're trying to target are gonna be searching for them on Google. Like, I don't know if there's gonna be a doctor who's gonna say, oh, I need to put an addition on my home, let's go to
I disagree. That's your opinion, but we know that people go to Google when they're ready to buy,
Okay.
and everybody uses their mobile device or their iPad. The doctor that's working a lot and doesn't have a lot of time, he's not going to spend time reading magazines. He's not going to spend time looking at his mail.
I agree with that.
He's going to go to Google.
I agree with Joanne, and one of the things that I found from one of my clients that does really high-end cars rentals is the word that he really focuses on is luxury. Because that word tends to be used more when you get to that high-end clientele that specifically wants to, they know that it's luxury. They know that it's not the commonplace.
At these rank luxury.
So, on the board, let's write down some ideas of different things that we can put in to this proposal that make sense. One of the things that makes sense, I'm going to go first, is mobile. You said something about they want to focus on the weekends and at night.
Yeah.
So we can day stamp it. Mobile banner ads with a really good call to action. Everybody has a mobile device. Lawyers, doctors, surgeons, I don't care who you are. You have a device, and we can day stamp it so we can directly target the person they want at the time they want. With the, yeah.
The guy, she was funny. She actually mentioned something. She's like, we don't do anything in the Intelligencer because our people not reading the Intelligencer. They're more likely to read the Wall Street Journal. I said,
Yeah.
no, we can put your ad on the WallStreetJournal.com.
Right.
Really? Yes.
Awesome comeback.
That was good. All right. Who else has an idea and why?
I was just going to expand on the extended networking for the behavioral demographics, the income, and then also the age group that you mentioned, that could fall into that active period,
Absolutely.
active lifestyle. But then also, you mentioned something about Facebook, but a lot of the decision makers are really the wives and the people involved in the office and the family too. I mean, as far as word of mouth, which is what you originally said, the company really relies on referrals. So I wouldn't leave that group out.
And women, Facebook is, not that it's predominantly women.
They're
but
the ones,
they're
yeah,
the
I
ones
think
that are on it
would
more
focus
so
on it.
during the day.
The
Because
men
if they're
won't.
targeting the really wealthy, high-class people, women aren't working usually. The men are. So Facebook would be a great fit.
I think the main thing for them is everything needs to be targeted.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, it is.
I like impression campaigns with behavioral targeting.
Yeah.
I like-
actual ad, link to.
I'm thinking behavioral targeting as some really high-end things, like, 10,000 or more on jewelry.
I agree.
And things
That's a
like that,
great
because I
point.
think anybody who goes into that, like, people who search for, pools, in-ground pool installation, and, to pick other things around the home that if they have the money to do
Right,
that,
the
then they would do
luxuries.
it.
Yep.
So, people who looked at a Rolls Royce.
Or a Rolex.
Right.
Or a fur coat in the winter. Those are people that you want to target because they have that extra money to spend it on the luxuries in life that normal people like us aren't.
So,
We're not looking it up.
Hey, Brian,
so the behavioral targeting would be matched to that.
did they mention who they're competing with locally?
Yeah, it was
Good
one question I was
question.
gonna ask.
No, and I didn't ask.
Would
See, 'cause-
Philadelphia magazine be too far away? I mean,
Well, that's Philly, right?
that's what I'm wondering. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
Philly.
City particularly because it's a really nice
It's a wonderful
magazine.
magazine.
I mean, a lot of people in the whole even of Toledo Valley
Yeah.
subscribe to Philadelphia
Lovely
magazine.
magazine.
I love it.
Well, what do you read it for?
Anything, general ads.
Do you see a lot of like builders, I guess, in that kind
I
of
mean,
magazine?
I've only seen a couple copies, but I actually got the subscription for my son
Okay.
because it's a great magazine. They have great articles, sport writing, and then I think, again, the advertising in it.
But we can't put anything in there.
Yeah.
Oh, you
No,
can't.
that's not
That's
our
what I was asking.
product,
It's not us.
but
All right.
what about our Bucks County, our Bucks magazine, Bucksmont
I
magazine?
asked them if they've done anything in the Radius, which is Doylestown's version, and they don't think it's hitting their people. Because that's a magazine that you pick up at a Wawa. It's not something that you subscribe to.
Right.
Now, the Bucksmont magazine is also direct mailed.
Okay.
But they did magazine. You said they didn't have a lot of.
Yeah, but they're still doing
They're still
magazine.
doing it, just a larger,
But if we did something opposite of magazine and showed them that there's a better return on investment and better ways to track it, they'd spend more money eventually. This is
I mean,
something
they're,
that
they're
could grow.
not, they're doing the magazines. If it was up to her, they wouldn't be doing any
I
magazines.
wouldn't-
It's
I'd
the
go
owners
with
who've been
digital.
doing this business for 37 years, they feel that they have to be there for whatever reason.
I got you.
This might be a weird question, Brian, but when they get paid for their jobs, do the clients typically just pay for it cash that they have on hand, or do they get a loan or financing?
A little bit of both.
Okay. So they finance part of it, because that's the other thing to look at is, looking at someone's credit scores, or
Ooh,
doing a
good
cutoff
point.
for
Okay.
people who, have the available credit
Funds,
limit.
yeah.
Disposable income.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
good point.
Disposable income.
And that's,
Because even though they have it on hand, a lot of people don't pay all of it.
right.
I mean, what do you think Facebook, why do you think Facebook wouldn't have a wealthy client or a
Well-
wealthy user?
I didn't.
No,
say that.
Brian said that. Why do you feel that
He
way,
felt
Brian?
more Google wasn't worthy.
No, he said Facebook.
For the people that they're trying to get, I don't necessarily think the $1 million doctors, husbands or wives, are sitting around on Facebook.
I disagree.
I think Brian,
See, to me, Facebook is for everyone. It's not a
People post
demographic
pictures
thing.
of their grandchildren,
It's not
their nieces
an
and
age
nephews.
specific.
They might not do shopping on Facebook
Or,
the
yeah,
creative-
it's not a money thing.
creative people, specifically interior designers and architects, love social media. So the thing about it is, if they're being referred out, say, look, go call, ABC Architecture there in Yardley, all right? They're very creative on that piece, involved in that, engaged on that end. So the thing is, if they were to get it up, there's a piece to capture. So if we knew what these competitors were, who they're losing, what custom builder, if it's Zavetta, for example, Zavetta's a pretty good custom builder, does a lot of, he'll do a $200,000, garage for you, renovation, it's already built, still doesn't, he'll make it a man cave. But anyway, if we had that type of stuff, then because probably when you have on the social media world, this collectively, I think especially on the retargeting and buying up the keywords of Zavetta and everybody else, you can nail this bitch in, no problem.
It's
So I
on
would-
video.
yeah.
Thanks,
Sorry, I
man.
wasn't happy about that.
I also want you to
That was
realize that
inappropriate for
Facebook
video.
using
Oh,
isn't
I'm sorry.
necessarily
I
for
wasn't being
people
taped.
posting
You knew it was
and,
taped.
I did not- I would know.
interacting with
Believe me,
people.
Tina, I
People
wouldn't.
are silent Facebookers. There's people that sit behind their computer or on their cell phone checking Facebook. They may not be active in it, but they're still looking. You know what I mean? Now, granted, the display is for desktop, so unless you're doing a sponsored engagement, which I wouldn't suggest for them for that.
Exactly.
I agree.
And I'll say this about Facebook. One of my customers, prospects, friends, but I'll get them in. His typical customer, on average, he sells custom clothing. On average, his average customer spends on $70,000 a year with him. His typical customer. He gets a lot of business out of Facebook. And so we can spend $70,000 on your wardrobe on an annual basis.
And plus, if we took Facebook and we targeted the areas he wants to get the business from, where they have $1 million homes, with people that are home that have that money, like say Washington's Crossing, Yardley, I don't know what area he wants to. We start off with a small area and we pound it with that. I mean, here's the thing. The nice thing is if we do a little bit of everything for a couple months, we'll see what's best performing, and then we'll put the money towards that and bring him in a big ROI.
That's Van Treskomat?
Yeah.
But he
That
did
probably
buy
is a
something.
It's a good testimonial. Once you get them,
Oh, I'll tell you, Frank, his average customer, he was just down the White House with the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. Their average customer is in there spending $70,000 a year on clothing.
You do.
No, I don't.
Did you get him for a Facebook package?
Okay, it's all taken care of. Building up the pitch deck now. Did you see my nice graphics there? I got Trotter in there, I just shrink him in and fit him in there, fat head. But, yeah, no, but that's the thing, he gets a lot of business out of that,
see, they don't,
well, no, they don't, what I'm saying is
because
that,
they're not active on it.
right, but see, that client, if you can drop $70,000 on suits and shoes, you're the kind of guy that can spend $500,000 at your basement remodeling. That kind of
Absolutely.
thing.
All those luxuries go hand in hand.
Right.
And $1,500 is a really low budget for somebody with one job. They'll make 15 grand more.
Excellent point.
I would go in with a much stronger proposal.
Or at least, you know, 2-tier package.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
Let them start off slow if they want, but
Yeah.
1,500 is really small for them.
I would do an SEM too. I mean, people, when they're spending that kind of money, I would say they're gonna do some research. So they're gonna get on the computer and they're gonna do some Googling. So
But if you're gonna spend that kind of money, you're also gonna find somebody that's been used before, your friends mention their name, and they have a good social media outlook.
You're
Yep.
not just gonna pick someone out of the,
No.
the yellow pages today, you're not.
No.
gonna-
Exactly.
Too risky, you're gonna
But I
look for
mean,
somebody that has credibility and has references behind them.
So typically, when his customer comes in, are they specifically already looking for renovations, or you said that they're not always an active buyer, right?
For the most part, they are.
So they're already saying, hey, we want to get our home renovated. Who are we looking for? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
In their mind, the decision's already made.
And they just want to be that company that they look for.
So what's their pain, Brian? Like, they're obviously having some successes with something, like with the magazines that they've used before, so
Not
where's?
really magazine,
Okay.
they have more success with the direct mail piece and they're doing it once a quarter.
Okay,
She feels that they get more calls out of that,
okay.
but that's only to existing clients, so it's not to anybody new.
Anyone new,
They're
right?
not doing anything really that's getting anybody new.
So that's their pain then, basically getting new clients in the door.
Right.
They're on YouTube.
I don't think so. Their owners are very stick in the mud guys.
But
Does
that,
she have
How
any
about videos?
ideas?
yeah, that's why I said
Yeah.
YouTube. It's all video. 'Cause that's-
Interstitials. We're getting too savvy.
You're
I'm on video high.
on your video tear.
Does she have any ideas? Like, okay, Brian, we've been thinking about this, we've been thinking about this, what do you think, or what are your thoughts?
The only thing she said that they've been thinking about doing is she knows she needs to update the website more. In terms of
Okay.
anything else digitally,
Not interested.
again, they got soured on what they did with Google, with whatever that company was in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work, so they stopped.
When's the follow-up?
Next week,
What day?
same day, I think. Thursday, but later.
What's the name of the business?
Jared Vaughn.
How'd you find them?
I actually saw their truck parked at my church. I took the name down. And actually, I called her a week or two after that, and she told me to give her a call in a couple weeks, and then I ran into her at that Bucks Chamber Expo that I went
Nice.
to a couple weeks ago.
Nice. That's good. Let us know how the pitch deck comes along and what you get out of it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Take a
Love
bow. Take a bow.
No bows.